It's Yetunde Vlog. Yetunde Vlogs.
Hello. Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Yetunde. I'm a little bit morose. Is it morose? I'm not really my usual kind of self today. I feel a little bit sad. I have to admit, like I feel a little bit sad. I feel a bit sad. I feel a bit sad. I don't know. For those that are aware of the goings on in the trending news in Nigeria, you may or may not know about what's been happening since Friday. Today is Saturday. I'm filming this on a Saturday, and so I don't know where to start. I'm not gonna go into the details of the particular topic. I just want to go from it. I want to come from a different angle. So just for those that don't have a clue, there's been things that have happened and some revelations that have come out about a public figure, two public figures actually, and the allegations have been about rape. And I say allegations, but I believe the person who said this. I believe her. And honestly, watching her talk about it, I was heartbroken. I'm a little bit teary because I'm just an emotional person, but it was very emotional for me to watch the video, and I'm even thinking about it now. It's making me feel sad, and I think I don't know what's more upsetting, what happened, who did it, or people's reactions. I don't know what's more upsetting. I want to talk about this. There is too much shaming in Nigeria. Too much shaming. Too much. I don't want to call it victim shaming because I don't like the term victim. That's my own personal opinion. I don't like it. But shaming of people telling their truth is too common. It's too common. It's too apparent. It happens too often. Yes, we're in the age of social media. We can express more things. Things are more apparent because it's shared over social media. It's a medium where anybody can share anything. It's down to them essentially, and and for the most part, it's we can either react, we can ignore it, or we can create our own. And this particular news is caused a complete reverberation around Nigeria and with Nigerians especially, because both people involved are Nigerians. And my problem is the reaction of people to the person that is accusing the other person, and it actually makes me sick to my stomach. As far as I know, anybody in their right mind, nobody can use sexual abuse as clout. That's, in my personal opinion, like, to use it as clout it's crazy to me. It's absolutely absurd to me. And to be able to come out, because there is so much stigma against people that have been sexually abused, in whether it's molestation, whether it's rape. The fact that sexual abuse is tagged to an incident, the victim, the person that it happens to, almost always in Nigeria becomes the one that the stigma is attached to. They then become known as this person that this happened to them. That becomes almost a tagline to their name, and nobody wants that. Nobody likes to discuss it. Nobody really likes to discuss it openly. They haven't liked to discuss it openly for many, many years. Only now do we know that when we discuss these things is when it brings about some sort of resolution and healing for people. Because honestly, to go through any kind of sexual violence or sexual assault, it's not it's not a joke, for one, and it's not fun. It's not fun, and it's scarring. It's scarring, and for the most part, to be able to share that with people, and it be your word against somebody else's, especially a prominent figure. In my book, that is bold. So bold. And then to have people that don't even know you, that don't want to know you, that don't really have your best interest at heart, to tell you that you're lying, that's a lot. That is what causes people to shut up. That's what causes people to not report these cases. And therefore, when these cases aren't reported, it can continue. It can happen for as long as we could ever imagine. It can happen. I hear people sometimes say that, oh, this thing is such a new thing, never used to happen. On the contrary, it's always happened. It's just now that we have social media, it's on the forefront. And we need to be more alert about these things. And, we say as parents, because, okay, the statistics show that almost 90% of sexual abuses or molestation happens, it's caused, the perpetrator is often someone that is close to the victim. Because, and let me just break it down to you. Obviously, as a parent, you don't just let anybody touch your child. You don't, even when they go out, you tell them not to talk to strangers. You don't let anyone just carry them. You're very particular about who you allow to interact with them and they interact with. But in your home, you have your friends and you have your family, and for the most part, you trust them, you love them, and you appreciate them. And people that you hold in high esteem, perhaps, that have come to your home. But there's times when people have secrets that you don't know about. There's struggles that people have that you may not be aware of. And sometimes, or from my understanding is, the community raises the children, which sounds, in theory, it sounds really lovely. It sounds fantastic. But in reality, we don't know everybody's minds. We don't know what everyone is thinking. We can't assume they think like we do, that they love on your child like you love on your child. In fact, the people that you deem the most trusting could be the ones to be causing your child pain. And that's what happens with sexual molestation. It's not just any random person that comes into someone's home. It usually is someone that they know, that they've trusted. And often these perpetrators, they groom the children, they groom these young people. And, when I say grooming, they buy them gifts. They love on them. They find out what makes them sad, what makes them happy, and they try to, gain their trust. And once they gain their trust, they pounce. And yeah, they pounce. And most of the time, parents are none the wiser because you trust this person. And it's very hard for a child to articulate those kind of things, especially when you know that it's wrong, and this person that is essentially an adult or older or in a place of authority is puts this thing on you. It's a burden, actually. Puts this burden on them, and they don't know what to say or how to say it. And if they even do say it, sometimes they're told to, be quiet, you don't know what you're talking about. Or it's like, okay, we'll deal with it, and it's swept underneath the carpet. And that person goes on to live their life and continue that cycle of abuse. It's really sad that people think that sexual abuse and molestation is something to be laughed about, because social media is really sick and people are really showing their colours. So imagine showing someone expressing their trauma and all that they've been through, not only to be mocked, but to be laughed at and then to be distrusted is horrible. That the act itself, rape, when somebody has forced themselves on somebody else sexually and without consent, is something that is, I can't imagine it. I haven't been through it, but I can't imagine it. It's something that is devastating, to say the least. And to have somebody express that happened to them and then being told that they're lying or all these other things, it says more about the person that is saying those things than the person that has come out to say this. If your first initial reaction is to distrust the person, man, I have to say it says a lot more about you than the person. I hear the whole thing of they need to do their findings, they need to investigate. Perhaps it's the person's word against theirs. I hear that, but we need to be mindful of not making someone feel like they are wrong for expressing something that's happened to them, because the person that perhaps did it is someone that you look up to. Let me tell you, sexual predators don't look like that. They don't look scary half the time. They look like regular people. For the most part, they might even look very beautiful or very handsome, and you won't even know. You would never even think it. They walk amongst us, they live amongst us, and we don't know until they show themselves. So if the reason why you disbelieve someone is based on the fact that the person is a certain way in the view of the public or a certain way to you as a particular person, then it doesn't make sense, because not everybody is the same. You're not the same. You are not the same. Like me, I'm not the same way with each person that I meet. Generally, I'm the same way, but you can't. I'm not the same way with my husband that I am with someone that I just meet. Of course not. Just like we don't know how somebody is with we don't know anybody's relationship with anybody. So if our first reaction is to disbelieve someone based on nothing apart from a perception or public perception, then we have bigger issues than in this country than we ever thought. We have serious issues, because sexual violence is on the up. Sexual predators they are crawling everywhere, and we are shoving our hands down these people's throats, people that are speaking out against it, people that are expressing and saying their truth. We're shoving our hands down their throat and telling them to keep shut. And we're allowing those people to continue perpetuating the same thing and causing even more pain to more people. And in order for us to stop this, you have to talk about it. We have to stand against it, no matter who the person is. I didn't want to be overly emotional in this video, because sometimes if I'm emotional, maybe I'm not talking sense, or I can be rambling and I don't get out the message that I want to. But I just wanted to say that we need to be really careful how we speak about these things, and we need to be very, very careful how we treat people that have been through atrocities such as this, because rape is not a joke. Rape is real, and no matter how a person, and let me just tell you, the things that you should not ask if somebody has been raped is what were they wearing, where were they, how. The questions you should be asking: are they okay? Have they sought help? Is the crime being investigated? Because it's a crime. It's a crime to force someone against. It's a crime to force someone against their will to have sexual intercourse. It's a crime, and if anybody thinks otherwise, then I hate talking about things that make me sad, but at the same time, I hate being quiet about things that make me sadder. Because sadder even a word, but yeah, because this is just, it's just not been great. Whenever people speak out about these issues, some of the responses on Instagram especially I see are sickening, like stomach churning, sickening. And yes, I know they don't make up the majority, and not everybody is on social media, but for the most part, there are people out there that think really twisted and messed up things and are very ignorant when it comes to these kind of cases. So I just wanted to just highlight that we need to stop victim shaming. I hate that word. I don't know why. Why do I hate that word? Let me just see what it means. I'm that person that when, like, I need to know the meaning of a lot of these words. Okay, person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of crime. Okay, that's fair enough. I just don't like what but that's what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, I hate victim. We need to stop victim shaming. If someone has been through something, just because your mind cannot, like someone's mind may not be able to understand or fathom what exactly happened or how it happened or, the details of certain things, regardless of whether we think that it makes sense on how the details make sense or not, it's nobody's business. Because again, we weren't there, you weren't there, and if somebody has expressed that this is what's happened, the first reaction shouldn't be to disbelieve them. And that's ultimately it. To speak out about these things, it's not easy because the person has to relive it. People that have been through crimes, to relive it is really hard. And yeah, and sometimes we're so because we see everything. We're in that generation where we see how everything works and everything. So it's like almost like people need to be able to visualize and see exactly how and when and how all these things. But that's not up to us. It's down to those that will be prosecuting. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because we need to do better. I love you guys and I thank you for watching this video. I know this video is quite long. It might be a bit rambly. I don't know what I'm talking about maybe, but I do know what I'm talking about and I needed to say this and I wanted you guys to chip in on it and let me know what you think as well. So please feel free to comment below and let's start this conversation here. And yeah, and I will be happier in my next video, I promise. I appreciate you guys and I love you guys. Have a wonderful week ahead.